Okay. First thing I want to say, just for like upcoming events, you guys all know our holiday party's coming up on December 7th. It's at the Hard Rock. For those of you that don't know, this event's going to be ridiculous. We literally have the entire lobby of the Hard Rock rented out, completely closed off to us, and there's also a few surprise guests that will be there. So I encourage everyone to come out to the holiday party. It's going to be hopefully unbelievable. And special credit to the Canapintos, who've done an amazing job of helping put that together. So it should be amazing. The second thing I wanted to say before I introduce one of our newer YPO members, Robert, and the Fun Spot crew, this group at the Fun Spot has been unbelievably accommodating. Like, I can't even put it into words as far as all the people that we've met with and all the events that we've done. I think through YPO, just talking with Christine, like, they literally have taken care of everything. So it's actually been a very easy event for us. To their credit, and I'm going to let Robert take it over from here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. As you heard, I'm a new member to YPO, and glad you all brought your families out this morning. My name is Robert High. I'm the president of HA High Construction Company, and 2 years ago, we were fortunate enough to meet John Airy Sr. and John Airy Jr. The past 2 years, we've been working together to develop this property. This is 10 acres. The old park, as many of you realize, this is quite a departure from what probably the perception you had of Fun Spot when you visited in the past. So I'm going to introduce John Airy Sr. and John Airy Jr. I can tell you personally, the past 2 years, not only are they great clients, very fair, they've got a great story. It's a story of really entrepreneurship and the American dream, and they're both going to share with you how they grew from a small beginning to, I believe you have over 600 employees now? 400 employees now. So it's a great story. They're great clients of ours. They're great friends of mine, and we're happy to be a small part of their growth and their story. And I hope you enjoy the presentation today. So with that being said, John Airy Sr., the owner of Fun Spot.
Thanks, Robert. Everybody hear me okay? Is it too loud? Okay. Well, anyway, it has been quite a ride. A few initial facts. A year ago today, we had no building permits, zero. We were in the final stages of getting them. So the magic of it all is teaming up with Robert and listening and trusting what he did and what he said. He said, you have to have a design build or we can't do it. And we did it. It's been less than 6 months. He broke ground and turned this park over to us so we could get to our soft opening, into our grand opening, which was June 8th. So it really is when somebody pulls a rabbit out of the hat, this was it. Robert did a phenomenal job for us. There's a couple of other facts that I want to mention. We spent basically $25+ million building this addition, this 10-acre addition, not counting the land. And 100% minus 2 items was totally built and bought from America. 100%. Only 2 things weren't. That's the train on the blue and yellow coaster, which came from Holland, and it's brand spanking new. And then the Enterprise has arrived that came from Six Flags Atlanta. That was born in Germany 35 years ago. So it's been in the States 35 years. Kind of like to believe it's an adopted or a citizen of America. So 100%, we take special pride in doing that, and we're trying to help out in building this and help out America at the same time. A lot of people ask, why do you do it, especially myself? Why at 65 years old do I want to go into debt for $25 million? But truly, everything was going pretty good. The main reason why is for my kids, my family, my Fun Spot family, so they can continue to grow, continue to experience success in America. I'm local too. I moved to Florida in 1964, graduated high school in Oviedo in 1967. Went to college. Yeah. So we're truly Orlando's homegrown amusement park. Truly. You know, Disney came from California, SeaWorld came from California, Legoland came from somewhere in Europe, I don't know where. So Fun Spot truly is America's homegrown amusement park. So that's how it goes. Some of the stories I want to go back, and I truly feel we've been blessed too. God has just smiled on us and blessed us and given us special favor in our success here. And so I want to give him credit for that too. But some of the history. I graduated high school and let's see where we are on this. Okay, yeah. I graduated high school in 1967. I worked up at Little 500 in Maitland. That's where I got my feet up there. And I was working just like these guys here. We're working on, when I say I worked the front line, you know, I went out there, we charged 50 cents for a go-kart ride back then. But I worked the line for about 3 or 4 years, you know, deciding worked my way through college. 1975, I left there and I went up to Ocean City, Maryland. Went up there and started an operation for 1 year, just that year there. Came back to Florida here and started. Anybody know where Lancaster Road is? It used to be Dean's go-kart track over there. And I bought that from Dean and we started running that. I tried to get out of the amusement business. I opened a lawnmower shop there called Little Bill's and did pretty good at it. Became like the second biggest lawnmower shop in Orlando within about 3 or 4 years. But it was a lot easier to make money in amusements than it was in lawnmowers. So we went back into the amusement business. 1979, we came to International Drive. Being up in Ocean City, Maryland, I saw what the tourists, how they spent money, and how they spent money a lot freer than the locals did. So we wanted to go into the tourist sector here. So we came up here and bought a 5-acre parcel down at the corner of Sand Lake Road and International Drive. And we built Fun and Wheels amusement park there. It took 3 years there before we broke $1 million in gross sales. I've never done that much money in amusements before. So we knew we were on the right path in what we wanted to do. So I sold out, well, no I didn't. I went up to Kissimmee, Florida and started another go-kart track up there called Fun and Wheels. It's not on the timeline here, but we started that in 1988. I got cold feet back then, and I sold out to Robert Earl, and he with the promise that he was going to grow the Fun and Wheels concept throughout the country. Well, after he bought us and a couple other local businesses, then he bought Hard Rock Cafe. And all of this money went to Hard Rock Cafe, and so we never expanded. I was very disappointed, very disillusioned, and very sad about the whole thing. But anyway, I went back into business, and then this jumps a lot right in this area here, but we weren't idle. How's that? In 1991, we went up to Myrtle Beach in Ocean City, Maryland, and had operations going on up there. 1997, we bought the 5-acre, well, actually it was 1996 when we bought the acreage back here and started building. And, did I do that? Okay. But anyway, this is what it looked like. How do I stop that, Robert? Okay. Well, anyway, this is the video. This is what it looked like. This is the 5 acres right here. This is the ditch going all the way around it here that we used effectively when we did our multi-level tracks, that we went into the ditches and everything else. This is the 10 acres that we're sitting on now, which goes all the way up here. So anyway, let's see if I can play this video. There's no audio, but anyway, so this is what happened. This is way back in the early years. I can hear it. This was us during construction. That was me over there. We don't want to say that. But anyway, in 2000, we built this in 1997, and in 2004 we bought a property down in Kissimmee that was Sky Coaster. That's done very well. In 2012, we were elected as the #1 FEC in the world. which is quite an honor by IAAPA. IAAPA is our convention. It's International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. It's the convention for our industry. And we were named the best budget attraction by the Orlando Sentinel for like 5 or 6 years going now. This year, this was a total surprise to me. I was named the Person of the Year by Amusement Today. We were out in Santa Cruz Boardwalk and I received the honors and out there. I was totally surprised. I don't know how they kept it from me because this is nothing. They pulled the name out of the hat, you know. They knew about it all along. So I always wondered now what I don't know that's going on. And then this is what it looked like when we had finished building. This is our 5 acres here. This is our 10 acres here. And we haven't finished. We have another 10 acres back here that we now own, which all came out in the last year, really, less than a year ago. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, this was a momentous thing. This was probably, I mentioned it at the beginning, we borrowed $20 million from Regions Bank. It was something that I'd never done before. It was a tremendous hurdle that we had to overcome. But we had, the right people came into our lives at the right time. Bob Brown, and he put together a loan presentation. We had the financials to support it. So we went over there and we, this is the closing. It happened to be my birthday, June 29th, last year when we got the money. And lo and behold, Robert took all of our money in less than 6 months. So he took it all. But anyway, this is some of the closing that we did. So I'm sure a bunch of you guys have gone through this kind of deals where you're putting everything back on the line for the future. It's just what entrepreneurs do. Again, there's a lot more that you don't see that we've done to get where we are, and I think John's going to take you through some of that. One of the things I've got to tell you, let me just do this because I get so concerned. But we went to 49, after we bought the property, we didn't know whether to go with a bigger FEC or go into the amusement park or whatnot. So we visited 49 different amusement parks throughout the country. We traveled over 100,000 miles. And see, put almost 500 hours on my little plane. I have a little plane, I'm a pilot. So we flew everywhere. We talked to hundreds of different people, rode hundreds of different roller coasters to decide what we wanted to do here. So it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's not a food and beverage operation. It's not a retail outlet. It's a very unique type of industry that we're in. So there's a lot of research that went into this. What you see is that Robert pulled out of the ground in 6 months. A lot of history and a lifetime of education and wisdom that went into it. I'm going to turn it over to my son now, and he's going to take care of everything else.
All right, thank you. Every time he changes his speech a little bit, so it's like listening to it new every single time. It's neat. I'm John Aaron Jr. A lot of people know me as the guy out in the commercial on TV and stuff. Anybody see me on the TV? I go, it's you! The kids love that, not the adults so much. But normally if this was kids, I'd have everybody laugh and smile and clap. So you guys can do it next time I do. But anyways, so basically from this point, you know, once the concept and everything was in place and Robert started construction, operations started taking over from there, and we had to start building a team. That's where you can build it and you can make it the most beautiful park ever. You can have the best rides in the world, but unless you have the right people to run it, it's never going to be successful. And that was my goal, is I wanted to put the best team available to Orlando. We added over 200 jobs to our Orlando market, which helped boost the economy a little bit. I'm not sure where we left off here, so before we get too far into it. These are just some pictures. I'll scroll through. Actually, if you guys notice the lady over there in the green, that's Aunt Lola and her husband, Uncle Bart. Andre is in the back over there in the blue shirt. He's our director of operations. And Nicole, just so you guys know, in the teal, She's here to sell you guys. So don't leave until you sign the contract with her. I don't know what the contract will be. You may have to come back next year or spend some money or something like that. But so we have and that was our goal. We wanted to build the best team available to the Orlando area. Just some concept drawings. Let me scroll through all these. You know, a lot of people ask, well, how did you decide a wooden roller coaster? Well, quite honestly, I wasn't a fan of wooden roller coaster. Dad wanted it. And after we started doing the research and seeing all the different ones around the world, and how the return ridership and all that, all played a factor in the decision that we made for a wooden roller coaster. And now we want to have done anything different. It's the #1 ride in the park for June, July, and August, which is our seasonal months. Those 3 months would make most of our money of the whole year. It did over 240,000 rides in this park in those 3 months. Then, followed closely by the yellow and blue steel Cumberland coaster, that did just over 215,000. And we were really surprised about that because that was more geared towards the families, and the wooden coaster was geared towards as families as well, but the overall ridership. Without teenagers would get on it, get back on, get on, get back on. It's just going to double, triple anything else in the park. Well, the steel coaster was right behind it, and did very surprising to us. Over 215,000. Out of all the rides that we added this year, operationally, we had 0 accidents on any of them. And that is a true testimony to a good operations team, a good HR, and good training. And those are all keys that we've found out in our industry you have to stay on top of. You can't sacrifice salaries or anything else. Our company motto is safe, clean, fun, and it's in that order for that reason. You take care of safety, the fun will come. Safe, keep the park clean, and then the fun will come. And that's just how it's always been. That's what Dad taught me in the years of growing up and everything else. I remember when I was a kid coming out of high school, and of course everybody graduating high school. I think every young person is smarter than their parents at that age, right? I'm smarter than my dad at 18 years old. That's what I thought. I said, Dad, you got a lot of money. Why can't you open up a bar or a nightclub or something like that? Something that I could run. And I'll never forget. He goes, son, those type of organizations and stuff like that, they separate families. They tear apart families. All these things that, you get drunk, you get this and that, and I started thinking about it. He goes, but you know what I do is I bring families together and create memories and create priceless memories for a lifetime. So like today, if it's your kid's first time at our park, they're going to remember that first ride on that wooden roller coaster. They're going to remember that first ride on that Ferris wheel. And those are things that you can't ever replace in their memory, ever. I remember when I was a kid and I got to ride my first go-kart ride. I remember when I rode my first sky coaster ride. Those are things that you can't ever take out of somebody's memory. And so that was one of the things that really stood out to me when I was a kid. I said, you know what, that is that's so neat that you bring families together every single day. We can walk through this park and see families smiling, having fun, and taking pictures and creating those memories that are just priceless. So let me scroll through a little bit more. This is the wooden roller coaster manufacturer, which is in Pennsylvania. Just some facts about the wooden roller coaster. It's 75 foot tall. We picked that for a reason. We could have gone taller, but we figured from all the research we did, everything under 80 foot kept a smooth but thrilling ride. A lot of people have the impression that when you ride a wooden roller coaster, you get off, your back hurts, your neck hurts, all that. Well, that's why we stayed at that 75 foot mark. If you don't like rough roller coasters, ride this one. It is smooth. You'll get out there and you're going to go, wow, I can't believe how smooth that's a wooden roller coaster and how smooth it is. Over 2,000 feet long, hits about 45 miles an hour. The maximum vertical G's is 3.2, minimum verticals are 0. It took over 360,000 pounds of steel. So one unique thing that we did was we actually made the substructure steel and then the track wood. And that cut back on the maintenance of the overall wooden aspect of the roller coaster. If we were to have gone wood all the way from top to bottom, we probably would have had anywhere from a 5 to 7 man maintenance team working on it 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I mean, that's just the maintenance that you had to put into it. Over 100,000 linear feet of lumber and over 150,000 pieces of hardware. And it's truly amazing what Robert and his team did. They oversaw that whole, everything you see out here, they had their thumbprint on. And they did a great job. This is us at some of our meetings. We're missing one aspect. This is Robert, this is at Robert's office there. You guys have a great new member. She's probably down here somewhere, but one of the things that he brings every day to work, to his office, is this dog. And that is just, she was the best thing, you know, I would go there just to see the dog. Not Robert, not the plans, I wanted to see the dog. But this is us just having some, I want to get to the operation. We did our groundbreaking ceremony, blah, blah, blah. I know a lot of you guys want to get back out there and act like kids, so we're going to scroll through this real quick. This was Robert's section, by the way, and we didn't want him to take the mic because we were afraid that he'd put all y'all to sleep. So we went ahead and asked him not to. He can come in at the Q&As. This was really unique. We had to get in 2 large cranes to come in and erect the whole Sky Coaster, which is up here. How many of you guys have ridden the Sky Coaster? Okay, 2. So at the end of the day, everybody's going to ride the Sky Coaster, right? Yep. At least once? Huh? Yeah. Okay. This is us at another meeting. Brings back good memories. And then the grand reopening. This was June 8th, this year, 2013. Robert, Dad, myself right there with the rest of our team and a lot of key players. And we had our record day, the first day, our first grand opening was record ridership, record revenues, record attendance. Everything in the park was a record that day. And we just thank God that we were able to be blessed with such a company like HA High that was able to come in and build it in such a short time. The team members we put in place, our operations team. Again, spring we added in, our goal was to hire 100 team members in 100 days. Well, we got in there and we accomplished that goal. And we said, wow, you know what? The new rides we added, the new park, the new diner, everything we added, 100 is not going to be enough. We ended up hiring over 200 employees just for this expansion. And again, the leadership that we have in place now was able to train them, get them into place, just like we were operating this park for years and years and years before. And really, from the day that we opened, it's been a flawless operation. There's been some tweaks that we've had to do. It's a learning curve, but for the most part, 95% of the job that we stepped into has done flawless. I mean, it's amazing. It's a true testimony to good leadership. And then here's some, that's not a rendering, that's a true picture. It looks fake, doesn't it? It's not, but there's actually sand down here, stuff like that. And again, just some random pictures that we have throughout the park. The Enterprise came from the Six Flags in Georgia. It was, a lot of people have a history behind that and have ridden that before up there in Georgia. And then this is where we sit now, this is the diner, which you guys will have the opportunity later to enjoy some of our food. They're back there cooking right now, so make sure you eat lunch. And then just some more.
French fries and a light.
Yeah, we hand cut our fries. So if you, a lot of people said, rumor on the street, Five Guys has the best fries. Try ours, and you let me know. I believe that we're the best fries in Orlando, if not the state of Florida, if not in the world. They're great. So, anyways, we got a lot of things coming along. If you guys, we're going to open it up for a little Q&A, but we like to end all the presentations with, if you think this expansion is huge, wait until you see what's in store next. We've got 12 more acres. We've got a lot more things that are coming in that we don't want to release yet. We get one little mistake. We learned a lot in this whole process. One mistake was we put out all these renderings of a park, a dry park with a water park, which is supposed to go on the other side of that green fence there. And when we didn't open, people said, well, I thought you were doing a water park. So some of the things that we've learned is not to release all the information until it's confirmed. you know, and not to let down your guests. Let them think, well, they were supposed to have this, or they were supposed to have that. Wait until it's inked, wait until it's constructed, and then release it. So we have some things that are in the oven that are baking, and hopefully we'll be releasing some of that to the public coming up soon. So wait until you see what's next. It's going to be good. We got 12 more acres, and we're excited about our future. And we thank everybody for coming out and enjoying our park with us. And we're glad you're here. So we would open it up for some Q&A if you guys have any questions or answers. Questions for us. Hopefully we have some answers. Robert, if you would, direct most of them to him, since he hasn't had the mic, and Dad's available as well. So, yes, sir.
Your marketing strategy, and obviously you guys came up with it, it's huge, and do you guys just sit in the room and say, what do we do, or do you actually have like a marketing group that works with you?
That's a great question. I'll answer that in two aspects. We sit around in a room, and we talk, but 5 years ago for our 10th anniversary, we said, Dad, we were all sitting, we have a before this expansion, we had one marketing director, and then Lola worked in sales and marketing as well. She was sort of an ambassador. But on our 10th anniversary, we said, we're going to give away free soda to all the guests, and I was like, Dad, that's huge. That's a lot. You could lose a lot of revenue that way. He goes, no, I want to do that. I said, okay. And then he goes, we're also going to give away a free Dodge Charger. I was like, that's huge. That's crazy. That's crazy. And he goes, not only that, son, I'm going to give away a free car to our employees. One of our employees for the summer. I was like, that's huge. Are you kidding me? And that's how we came up with the huge. And we have not been able to drop that. Everywhere we go, everybody says it, and it's just been something, it's sort of a tagline that belongs to us. But since then, what we've learned is our marketing plan and direction is we've added in 5 sales team members, and we used to be Fun Spot Action Park. We're sort of rebranding ourselves as Fun Spot Amusement Park, and we're going to be Orlando's amusement park. So what does, Disney came from California, and SeaWorld came from here and there, blah, blah, blah. Where did Fun Spot come from? It came from Orlando. What is Orlando? People travel here to go to Disney and SeaWorld and everything else. What do the locals do? This is Orlando's amusement park. This is your amusement park. This is where the locals go. This is what they enjoy. They don't have to fight the lines. They don't have to the big prices and stuff. That's where free admission, free parking. Who else does it? So we're sort of rebranding ourselves. We've got a new sales team, and we're excited about the future. We've got some good things coming out. One thing, if I may tell you, and this is a little insider, we're going to be releasing this next week to the public, so you guys are the first to hear this, is we're releasing our annual passes on November 22nd, and it's going to be, this is big, okay? This is huge, okay? Let me put this down. I get excited talking about this. So this year, we're $120 for one park annual pass. Next year, we've actually bumped that down because we didn't hit the numbers we wanted to. We're going to be $89.95 per park, but the week of Black Friday, you buy one park, you get the second park free. Not one, but 2 parks for $90. So basically, that's huge, huge, huge. But and not only that, you get one ride on the Sky Coaster in Orlando, one ride on the Sky Coaster in Kissimmee, and you get a free T-shirt and a DVD at both parks. So it's an over $400 value for only $90. And this is the first that any public has heard of this. And it's only during the week of Black Friday. So I threw a little sales pitch in there. We expect all y'all to go ahead and just leave your deposit on the way out. Yes, sir.
What percentage of your revenues are local versus tourists?
Local versus tourist? That's a good question. This park used to be 60% tourists, 40% locals. No, I'm sorry. Kissimmee was 60% tourists, 40% locals. And this park was flip-flop. 60% locals, 40% tourists. Since we opened in June, we've actually evened off here. It's about 50-50, but we expect for the tourists to start taking over some of those numbers. We want the locals to still come. We still feel like this is the greatest value in Orlando, but that's about how it breaks down. it's hard for us to tell too because we don't have a gate price. We don't have anybody right at the admissions. So it's a challenge for us to tell, but from our surveys, annual passes, and ticket sales, we do zip code reports, and that's how we came up with those numbers. I know somebody's got a question for Robert. Don't you?
I already asked him.
Anybody else? Any other questions? We're going to be giving away some prizes.
What was the biggest challenge with construction? Was there anything made this unique other than the obvious?
Yeah, for us, the biggest challenge was all the, John had purchased coasters all around the world and just kind of threw it in a pot, kind of like a stew. Here you go, Robert. I got a coaster from Vegas and I got one from Atlanta and make it work. So the biggest challenge for us was trying to assimilate, coordinate all that. Okay, yes, sir.
Hey, since some of the Six Flags stuff and stuff like that, I mean, has it been like pretty crazy as far as like regulations and safety? Is that like increased? Is that?
That's a good question. I actually went to Six Flags after. It was everybody here since the Six Flags accident with Texas Giant. Somebody had died on the roller coaster. Has it been challenging for us? It hasn't. Internally, like we haven't had the government come out or the state. We're regulated by the state. They come out twice a year, inspect every single ride, every single bowl. But internally, we took some measures and we did some different things that you guys will see today. These are just, you may have not noticed, I didn't point it out, but you'll see some of our employees will say 3, 2, 1, safe, clean, fun. Those are some of the things that and what it is they're checking different things. They say 3, 2, 1. They're looking at the gates, they're looking at the visual checks, they're doing different things. So internally, we took it as a challenge. We have a double redundant system almost on all of our rides when it comes to their seat belts and safety and stuff like that, which is the Texas Giant did not. It only had a lap bar. And so our roller coaster has a lap bar plus a seat belt. And those are the differences. And since then, the only thing the Texas Giant has changed about that ride is the seat belt. So we were already a step above it, but it has been challenging for some people in the industry, especially that Rocky Mountain roller coaster group, which we were just out there a couple weeks ago visiting their manufacturer. But we took it on as a personal challenge just to up our standards. We feel like we're one of the top amusement parks in the world when it comes to safety. And the state comes in here when they regulate, they use us, our property is one of their training facilities, and they use us to train other inspectors to come in and this is how a park's supposed to look. And then they'll go to other parks like carnivals and say this is what it's not supposed to look like. So and that's bad because it gives us our industry a bad vibe, but that's in reality that's how it is.
Ready for the draw?
Do it.
Okay.
So, I just want to reiterate what Mark said. These guys have been awesome to work with, and usually we try not to sales pitch you guys, but they have scavenger hunts for corporate team building and all that stuff. So, you may speak to the lady in the teal if you're interested in doing that today. We have 5 door prizes that SpongeBob has donated on top of everything else they've done for us today. 2 annual passes and 3 rides on the Sky Coaster. Here's the catch. If your name gets drawn for the Sky Coaster, we're doing it right now. Everybody goes upstairs and everybody gets to watch. So, peer pressure. We were going to rig this, but we decided, nope, we're just going to let fate take it to him. So, immediately after, we're going to draw the 2 annual passes first, then we'll draw the 3 Sky Coaster rides. Everybody will go up top. We're going to get a group picture. Of course, it's huge. And then shoot whoever it is off into space. We're gonna test the safety regulations. All right, first annual pass goes to Betsy. Rondé? Yay! Our guest for the day. Our guest. Must be
Congratulations.
That was the annual pass.
Again, these are going to be a hot item right here coming up soon. That's the bottom.
Chris turn. Go Sky Coaster for you. All right, everybody's right ours. Before we draw these, the yellow bags, everyone gets one. Every adult, child, everybody that's walking around today gets one. So make sure you take those with you. We have this room until noon. So when we go upstairs to the Sky Coaster, you can leave your things in here, come back down and help yourself to lunch. The cups in your bags are good all day for free refills of soda, lemonade, and tea. And I had to give out the surveys because we're doing that this year. If you complete those surveys and hand them to me, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much. And the 3 people that will soon be wetting their pants, doing Sky Coaster.
I'm watching it. I think
I know, he's already nervous.
he's trying to read his name.
Next. Next.
One of our new members, welcome, Chris Caprio. You're a Sky Coaster.
Listen, I'm going to give you guys a postcard. You can just take that home as a memorabilia, too.
All right, the next one is Mike Ward. Finally. I hope the UCF game was good today because Chris Reinbold, you're going for a ride. All right, so grab your stuff, leave your stuff. Let's go upstairs and watch these guys get launched.